Alan West, president of the National Center for Public Analysis, ncpa.org, former U.S. Congressman, of course, former Lieutenant Colonel. Congressman, so much to talk about. Let's start, though, with, if we can, with that. The president of George Washington University went on to say that we need to change the way the networks report on poverty, as if maybe he could give an executive order on it.
Yeah, once again, you have President Obama living in a state of self-imposed delusion, because when you look at the statistics on poverty, what has happened since his 7 years, the amount of poverty that has increased among Americans, the amount of more people on food stamps and EBT cards, and this poverty summit that he supposedly had yesterday at in Washington, D.C., it just seemed as another opportunity to blame someone else for the failure of the liberal progressive policies in the inner cities. And how interesting it is, Steve, that we are in the 50th year of Lyndon Johnson's Great Society and the War on Poverty, where we spent tens of trillions of dollars, and we haven't gotten anywhere as far as getting ahead with solving the issue in the inner cities, where their policies have broken down the black family, the failure of education. He didn't talk about the fact that he canceled the D.C. school voucher program, yet he sends his kids to Sidwell Friends.
Yep.
The truancy rate in Baltimore is 46%. The out-of-wedlock birth rate in Baltimore is 69% in the black neighborhoods. Those are the things that he should be talking about, not trying to scapegoat Fox News.
Absolutely, and of course it's all the Republicans' fault for all the statistics you just mentioned, as it's probably the Republicans' fault, according to Stephen Israel and others, that the Amtrak train crashed and that we've had railroad accidents all over the place. Why is the government owning and running the railroads anyway?
Well, you know, Steve Israel definitely is a student of Rahm Emanuel's never let a good crisis go to waste. And, of course, again, it's about scapegoating. It's trying to politicize a very horrific and tragic incident that occurred yesterday. And now the truth comes out, the truth being that train was going, like you said, 100 miles an hour in a curve which called for only 50 miles per hour. So it has nothing to do with infrastructure. And even if it did have something to do with infrastructure, remember the president talked about the stimulus, almost $1 trillion in shovel-ready jobs. Well, then I remember the video of him with Jeffrey Immelt, his economic advisor. They were yucking it up, saying that shovel-ready didn't exactly mean shovel-ready. Right. So where is all of that American taxpayer dollars that he wanted back in 2009.
Yeah, that would be wonderful to finally do an investigation now that the Republicans control the House and the Senate. Let's find out where every dime went, because I think the American public would be very interested to know. By the way, the NTSB has confirmed that the train was going 100 miles per hour, over 100 miles per hour, when it crashed. Let's move on to this Gulf Summit, which is a disaster before it even gets fully underway at Camp David, because many of the Gulf countries not there, and of course most notably the King of Saudi Arabia, with a thumb in the eye to Barack Obama, canceling his trip here. This just speaks to the lack of respect that the nations that used to be our allies and used to rely on us have for Obama.
Yes, the thing is, out of those 6 Gulf Cooperation Council states, only 2 are going to be attending this summit. 2 of the leaders of those states are going to be attending the summit. And of course, you've already heard the White House talk about, they have health concerns or what have you. But the bottom line is this. Saudi Arabia and the other members of the Gulf Cooperation Council, they're looking for action. They're not looking for more words. They're not looking for, to sit down and have more talks and rhetoric. And that's what you saw Saudi Arabia do. The fact that Saudi Arabia only gave the United States Central Command, General Austin, a 1-hour notice before they started their bombing operations in Yemen, that's very telling. Now, I will tell you, I'm very happy that more of the Arab nations are stepping up to the plate. But the fact that they are dismissing, they do not trust, they do not have confidence in the United States of America anymore, that's quite telling, Steve, and it's something that we should be very concerned. When you have Bahrain, where you have the Sixth Fleet headquarters, when you have Saudi Arabia, when you have UAE, those type of countries that are not attending this summit, that's very telling. Qatar is attending the summit, but then Qatar is also the place where the leader of Hamas lives and resides, in Doha. And of course, we know that later on this month, those 5 senior members of the Taliban who were turned over to Qatar, guess what? They get released.
Yep.
They get to go back to Afghanistan.
It is.
So
really
I don't
insane.
think having Qatar there is a big deal.
All right. Finally, what's your comments on the recognition of a Palestinian state by the Vatican?
This is horrific. You know, at a time when Islamic terrorists are slaughtering Christians, Catholics all over the Middle East, for the pontiff to recognize a terrorist organization, which is really either Hamas or Fatah. They're both terrorist organizations. It's just the degree of the actions that they're taking. This is unconscionable that he is doing that. And it just goes to show the level of propaganda success that the Palestinians have, and the level of disdain and anti-Semitism there is out there, and it is even coming from the Vatican now.
Yeah, it is very sad. I couldn't agree more. And the timing is, as Muslims are killing Christians all over the world, I just think it sends a terrible message as well. Alan, always great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Steve. You take care.
You too. Alan West, ladies and gentlemen.